my parents were big Democrat supporters and believed in unions. I had been, when I was in college working, I worked at Safeway. I was a member of the Retail Clerks Union. I had a kind of passion for unions and what they did for workers. And when Dave and I joined the Writers Guild and became working writers, and we were getting incredible health benefits, really great health benefits. As long as we were working, we were getting taken care of. Our families were taken care of. We knew we were putting money away for a pension, which I am, now privileged to be taking advantage of. The pension itself. There were movies every weekend through the Writers Guild that we used to go to. We were engaged in strikes that in fact improved the lives of writers. We were getting paid fairly. We were getting residuals. It was important to us. And I always thought I'd like to serve the Guild, and I did serve on some committees here and there, that were involved in various aspects of Guild life, and people got to know me a little bit around the Guild. And then finally, but I couldn't consider, I didn't think anyway. Dave and I had jobs. We would have to work sometimes until, midnight, 1 in the morning, rewriting scripts on sitcoms. We were busy all the time. There was no time for me to take time off from that kind of work to attend Guild meetings. But finally, when things slowed down, I thought, I'm kind of interested in serving, and I'd been asked before, and I was asked again, and I said I thought I would like to, and so I ran at that time for the board, and I was elected to the board, and to my surprise, sort of did pretty well in that election, because I think over the years of writing, I'd gotten to know a lot of people in the Writers Guild, and they had confidence in me, I guess, and so I had a sufficient number of votes to do very well in that election, and that started a period of time during which I served as both a member of the board and as later as the Secretary Treasurer of the Guild, and then eventually ran for president and did not win, and then was pretty much felt that I didn't want to serve in that capacity anymore, because younger writers have more at stake in the new technologies and what's going on in the business today than I did, and I thought they should have the positions on the board to make it where they were voting things that really made a difference in their lives, not just other people's lives.
You were reelected to Secretary Treasurer in 2007.
Yeah.
The writer's strike happened about 2007, 2008.
Yes.
What was that like, especially being an elected member of the Guild?
Well, it was. That's an interesting strike, and there's a lot to say about it. And I don't want to take too much time doing that. It was. I think my take on Writers Guild and strikes is that when there's something at stake that writers feel viscerally, that you can pretty much move in an assertive way, and that you may in fact be putting yourself in a position where the only thing to do is to, if you can't reach a certain level of accommodation with the other side, is to strike. And historically, the writers have cared deeply about things. They've cared deeply about residuals. They've cared deeply about minimums. They've cared deeply about their health plan. In this case, it was clear that the internet was becoming a huge part of writers' lives, and that in fact, and we see it now, you can't define television the way you used to define television. There are things on quote television now that don't come into our homes on either antennas or cable, or standard cable, that we're watching, that we all think of as television. And so the very essence of the business And movies, by the way, where writers are now being hired to write internet shows for their next, quote, 5 motion pictures, and to star in them. So it was clear that there was a huge shift taking place, and that writers who were already having a hard time organizing for cable and getting their share of the money that was going to those areas, that writers really could easily get frozen out of the internet business, new technologies, let's call it. And I felt very strongly that was a critical issue. And I think a lot of writers felt the same way. So that was a way of mobilizing writers to try to make some gains, and we did. And I'm not going to get into the success or failure of that strike, but I think it was worthwhile doing whatever we could to try to get a piece of what was going on there. Because as we all know who are writers, and most people in this business know, there is nothing if writers don't start the process by creating scripts, and we deserve to be well compensated and respected in that work. So I think it was. I'm glad we did it. I feel a lot of affection for the people who ran when I did, and I was a part of a team, and I'm kind of proud of those years of my life.